Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD.
And this is Pain User.
And we're back for a co-cast here. We're going to be casting a set of games from the IPL, and this is going to be, I believe, from the round of 64 qualifiers. It will be between aTnDarKFoRcE from aTn. He's going to be the red Zerg at the top right-hand corner, against coLrsvp, the blue Protoss in the bottom left, and it will be on Xel'Naga Caverns.
Yep, we're going to have RSVP going up against aTnDarKFoRcE, two very talented players. Complexity actually just picking up Team Root, or a majority of Team Root. I don't believe Kiwi, Kaki, and Slush ended up joining. Not sure what the issue is there. I believe Complexity wasn't willing to pay enough, and I totally agree with that. I think Kiwi Kaki is an amazingly talented player. So is Slush, and they're deserving of more than a couple $100s a month. And people were saying, "Oh, Kiwi Kaki's so greedy," blah 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 blah. I'm pretty sure he was asking for something along the lines of $1,000 a month, which $12,000 a year.
Hey, players are just trying to make money, man.
$12,000 a year. That's not being very greedy at all. If anything, I'd say he's worth a lot more than that as a player. But hey. That is the phase of esports that we're in, and even $1,000 a month is quite a bit for even a player as talented as Kiwi Kaki is. So it's sad that it's there right now, but hopefully in the future, player salaries will be up where they are with other sports.
Yeah, it's always good to get a little bit of a backdrop on current events in StarCraft 2, and with that, we always have Pain User here to drop the knowledge. With that said, now we're going to be looking into this game, and RSVP has already started things off with a little bit of probe harass here, noticing that he's very good at kind of ticking away at the drones and pulling away. Very good probe micro indeed. Now, the interesting thing here is RSVP has opened up with Nexus first. 14 Nexus before Forge. So this is actually going to leave him somewhat vulnerable to aTnDarKFoRcE's pool gas opening, and I would imagine aTnDarKFoRcE, after scouting this out with his drone, is going to be pumping out a lot of Zerglings, and he's going to try to take advantage and exploit the Protoss player for being so greedy.
Yeah, that's a really greedy opener from RSVP. I'm curious to see if he'll be able to pull this off.
Yeah.
There are going to be, speedlings knocking at his front door in just a little bit here. Speed is on the way. Forlings are on the way. First Queen is coming out, so as soon as these lings pop out, and how many is he making here? Okay, he's only making 4 lings. Yeah. He's not really committing to any kind of a ling all in here. Not exactly sure if he's going to be able to do that much damage with these 4 lings, but we will see. He might be able to force RSVP to have to pull some probes or something along those lines.
Is he really going to build the hatchery here? I would argue, after seeing the Nexus go down first before the Forge, I would argue for producing more lings rather than trying to catch up in economy, because right now you are quite a bit behind. I would say forget going for the natural, produce a ton of lings, and run right by these cannons and go right into the main. aTnDarKFoRcE could have produced about 4 more Zerglings, maybe for a total of 10, and he could have had speed in about, he will have speed in about 10 seconds, but he could have done a lot of damage. But as it stands, he's going to try to play catch up by getting this hatchery down, and I just don't agree with that. If you scout your opponent going for Nexus first, he is very vulnerable, and you could really run by a horde of Zerglings into this main, which is completely wide open and vulnerable.
Yeah, it is wide open and vulnerable. He could sneak in there maybe with a pack of lings, try and get some damage done. But, RSVP does continue to pull his probes and try and prevent that from happening. He does manage to sneak 3 Zerglings in there very, very early on in this game.
Yeah.
Going to be able to run those around, just be so annoying. Might do a little bit of damage, might kill a probe or 2. Definitely not going to end the game with that, but it's just annoying nonetheless. And, RSVP actually getting a good surround there on one of the Zerglings, able to kill that. So now it's down to 2 lings, much less frightening, much less difficult to deal with. So he will be able to get rid of those eventually. One more ling goes down, so he just has 1 Zergling now, and he might get another probe. I don't know. Oh,
yeah, nice probe kill right there. Not bad. Now the interesting thing here is aTnDarKFoRcE going to double expand, or is he going to play off of 2 base? Indeed, it looks like he is going to go for a double hatchery expo. So I see now his strategy. Really, he had 2 options when he saw the Nexus going down first. Either produce a lot of Zerglings and run into the main, and he could have done a lot more probe damage. As it stands, he only did killed a couple of probes, or go for a double hatchery. And indeed, DarkFoRcE is going to try to play a long-term game here. He's going to stick to his guns and play macro, and he's going to get a lot of hatcheries going to start this game off. And RSVP wisely realizing that, hey, I didn't get bum rushed by a lot of Zerglings, so my Zerg opponent's probably double expanding. He just scouted that and confirmed the hatchery going down at the 11 o'clock position. And we have a macro game on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we do. RSVP transitioning into a Stargate now. Going to probably get a Void Ray and a couple Phoenixes out. Doing a great job harassing with his Zerglings, though, DarkFoRcE is. And I think this has a lot to do with just the fact that he did do that greedy Nexus first build. He wasn't able to get out that early Stalker, no early sentries. You know, a lot of times you'll see a 3-gate into expand, and wow, these Zerglings are just kind of wrecking havoc at the natural right now. Was able to kill a Pylon, going to take out this Assimilator, probably going to kill a few probes after that. Might even get this sentry here. Looks like he was going to try and get the sentry, but then stopped. I don't know why he stopped there. I'm pretty sure he could have killed that sentry either way. But now just working on probes, picking off a few here and there, and man, RSVP just now finally getting that third cannon up in a position to where it can help his probes at the natural, who are in desperate need of some cannon assistance.
Yeah, this is the thing about going for Nexus first and then not having a gateway early on, is you pretty much rely on purely static defense, these photon cannons, to keep your base alive and to keep things under order and control. And RSVP is going to need a wide cannon spread. Thankfully now he's got 3 pretty well placed, should be able to cover most things. And inside the main we have a Phoenix coming out of the Stargate rather than a Void Ray. RSVP is going to try to go for Phoenix. DarkFoRcE comes in with his Overseer to scout, surprisingly not trying to run it away. Maybe he's just trying to, I don't know, maybe he just forgot, or he's trying to buy time to get a Spore Crawlers up. And it does look like he's going to have Hydralisk Den and Evo Chamber going down, so I think right now DarkFoRcE should be in a pretty good spot, even against these Phoenixes, because you got to remember, they're not that early. It's 9 minutes and 50 seconds into this game, and Phoenixes really aren't too big of a threat as long as you get a couple Spore Crawlers at each hatchery.
Yeah, it's not like a hardcore, you know, early Phoenix build where he's, you know, building up a group of 5-6 Phoenixes and just going raiding right off the bat. It's a delayed Stargate. And ooh, he's working on this Queen here. I don't think he's going to be able to kill it. He only has 2 Phoenixes. Probably going to force a secondary lift on that same Queen. But there we go. Now lifting that Queen up, going to kill that with the 2 Phoenixes. But it's interesting that he doesn't have a Void Ray yet, because Void Rays just work so well in this mix. They can continue to shell. And is that another Phoenix we have on the way? So he's going up to 4 Phoenix now. Not sure that he's going to build any more. I think 4 might be his magic lucky number. And it looks like he is going to pick off yet another Queen with these Phoenixes. And man, this is just absolutely frustrating to be watching. DarkFoRcE losing a couple Queens here and there, some drones. Now he has Hydras out to deal with this, so it's going to be a lot less. Simple sneaking in there and harassing the drones and killing Queens when there's Hydras lurking around that are on creep.
Yeah, the thing about having Hydralisk is they're really great against units such as the Phoenix, as long as you have good creep spread between your hatcheries. And we can see that DarkFoRcE, especially on a map where the hatcheries are right next to each other, the expansions, it's very easy to use Hydras to defend your mineral line. And along with the Spore Crawlers in conjunction now, I think that is pretty much going to eliminate the Phoenix threat. We're most likely not going to see any more Queens dying unless a Queen decides to go on a wayward journey down south. But as it stands now, I think RSVP with his Phoenixes, even though they were delayed, they actually were able to do some pretty good damage, and they bought RSVP time to get his 3rd Nexus up. And I would be very surprised to not see RSVP expand. It looks like he may be making an attack here, as his weapons has already finished, his armor is still on the way, and we'll just have to see how much damage he can do. And remember, there are Hydras on the map, and Hydras are fairly good against Stalkers.
Yeah, Hydras are definitely good against Stalkers. They're good against all Gateway units. They're also good against Phoenixes. Well, I don't want to say good, but in large numbers, they're the only thing that Zerg really has to deal with Phoenixes. And I don't know that he has enough, though. RSVP has a huge army pushing into the 3rd right now. Going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, but Those drones were pulled at the perfect moment. He is going to lose a ton of drones. However, he will be able to hold this army off, and just a great drone pull right there from aTnDarKFoRcE. He can afford to sacrifice those drones, and as long as he holds this attack off, it'll all be worthwhile, and it looks like he is going to do just that, pushing RSVP back beyond the ramp. Going to be able to kill that proxy pylon if he sees it. Okay, there we go. He's heading back for that right now.
Yeah, don't miss that.
Very well done by aTnDarKFoRcE right there, and he should be looking to take a fourth pretty comfortably here in a little bit.
Great defense by aTnDarKFoRcE, man. He got those roaches out just in the nick of time, and he's got to be a little relieved that RSVP wasn't paying attention to his Phoenixes, because these Phoenixes, all the while, could have been in the battle. He could have brought these Phoenixes in, lifted off some Hydras. He could have picked off reinforcements, but RSVP's attention span, or perhaps multitask, not up to par in this game. And now we have aTnDarKFoRcE moving out across the map. He's got a lot of roaches, and unfortunately, Phoenixes are pretty much ineffective against pure roach, along with the Hydras in the back. And aTnDarKFoRcE here is going to actually force the cancel on RSVP's third Nexus. Brilliant play. He doesn't need to do any damage. He doesn't need to lose any forces or take any injuries to his army. He forces the cancel by simple troop movement.
That is a lot of roaches, man. It looks like a giant centipede of roaches just running around the map right now. But one thing that he might need to do very soon here is start adding those corruptors, and they are coming out just now as we speak to deal with those Colossus, because the Colossus ball is really RSVP's chance to get back in this game if he can build up, if he can get that supply up to where it needs to be. On a map like Xel'Naga Caverns, where one battle can be the difference between winning and losing, just having one really big victory on this map can totally turn the tides of the war. So now he does have those corruptors on the field. His creep spread is just encroaching on enemy territory here. And look at all those cannons going down at the third for RSVP. I had no idea he had that kind of money banked. Wow, that is a lot of photon cannons. He really does not want that third base to be attacked. But aTnDarKFoRcE, I think, might be sending his units in for a little bit of a poke here to figure out what's going on, and he's going to run into a ton of photon cannons.
Yeah, the photon cannons here, moments before finishing. aTnDarKFoRcE is going to try to do as much damage as possible, but as the cannons begin to warp in, I believe aTnDarKFoRcE here will have to fall back. He is actually committing to this attack. His corruptors are gonna be able to take out the Colossus, which is a good trade. You want to trade with the opponent's Colossus while they're still small in number, and aTnDarKFoRcE actually has forced to unpower on the cannon, so now 3 cannons unable to do anything, but RSVP has enough stalkers here, I believe, to hold this off, and I think he will be able to keep his third Nexus alive. Now, the really secret and hidden thing and sneakiness about RSVP here is he does have another Nexus up here, but 2 Zerglings forced to cancel, and I think that, RSVP in a little bit of trouble. It's certainly going to be a war of attrition here for this Nexus.
It is indeed, and he may hold this off. He's really coming down to the wire right here. All the pylons on the left side did die, so those cannons are currently unpowered. 1 pylon warping in right now, so those cannons will join back into the fight here. And my goodness, that is so many roaches streaming in for aTnDarKFoRcE. We have a Colossus joining the mix at the perfect time. Looks like those roaches are going to be focused on that Colossus, might be able to kill it. Looks like they will actually track him down, and they're probably going to get that Colossus, and that is so important for RSVP right now. And after he loses that, just barely going to be able to hold on, but look at the mini-map. We have units streaming in from all over the place. Roaches coming from far and wide lands, joining up with their partners on a great migration to RSVP's base, and I think they're going to be able to finish him off here.
Sea, air, and land. SEAL Team Roach is here, and they are ready to take out the Nexus, and RSVP calls a GG.
Man, that was a quicker war of attrition than I thought it was going to be. That was he just overwhelmed him right there. It's very solid play by aTnDarKFoRcE. Able to just overwhelm RSVP. RSVP trying to get situated at his third base 2 different times, was forced out of position, and then losing that Colossus right there at the end just. That hurt. He could never get his Colossus count up to where it needed to be.
I think losing those Colossus was probably the most painful thing of all. As a Zerg player, you want to trade with the Protoss while they still have small numbers of Colossus before they get up to a big, unmanageable number, and I think that's really the key to aTnDarKFoRcE's victory.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, stay tuned. We have game number 2 coming out next.
Yep. aTnDarKFoRcE going up 1-0 in this series, and we'll be right back at you guys with game 2.